Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. My humble salutations at the feet of our beloved Master, Sri Swami Shivananda, our most revered Pujya Swamiji, Sri Swami Sahajananda, and dear brothers and sisters. This morning, I am truly humbled to share my reflections on a few selected aspects of the most glorious Lord, Lord Shiva, and his worship. My salutations and adorations to Lord Shiva, who is that supreme truth, who is the very form of holy hymns and sacred rhymes, who is beyond all knowledge, who is the incarnation of Brahma and Rudra, whose very eyes are the sun, moon and fire, who has a body smeared with white holy ashes, who wears a crown of countless jewelry studded with various gems and diamonds. My salutations to that Achyutam, Rudra by day, Rudra by night, the Father of the universe, the lofty, blissful, undecaying being, who is the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the entire universe. He who kills the tide of time, who is the truth and essence of philosophy, who is the omnipotent, luminous Absolute. Brothers and sisters, just how does one do justice in describing the one and eternal, the one who is possessed of such mighty powers? Where does one begin to describe the supreme object of worship and meditation? And just how does one describe the one who transcends all knowledge and truth? Just as it is impossible to explain the phenomenon of the universe, it is humanly impossible to explain Lord Shiva. Thus, this presentation is a limited attempt to understand just some of the many attributes of Lord Shiva, his various names, and the numerous symbols associated with him. In this brief presentation, I will also discuss two powerful mantras, and in the final analysis, the philosophy of Tandava will be explored, as well as some of the colorful festivals related to him. Let us now try to understand the identity of Lord Shiva and his various names. Who is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is known as a being of enormous proportions, assuming many forms and having phenomenal powers. The name Shiva means the auspicious one. He is described as the supreme God and origin of all. Simply put, Lord Shiva is the primal Atman of the universe, the one from whom Brahman emerges, in whom it stays, and within whom it goes back. There are two very distinct and extreme depictions of the Lord, one having a very benevolent and tender form, representing goodness, kindness, compassion and innocence, and the other as the fierce, severe Rudra. In the benevolent form, Lord Shiva is depicted as Adi Yogi Shiva, the patron god of yoga, meditation and arts. He is seen as an omniscient yogi who lives an ascetic life on Mount Kailash, as well as being a householder with his consort, Mother Parvati, and his two children, Ganesha and Kartikeya, also known as Muruga. In his wild, fierce and severe aspect, he is often depicted slaying demons. However, in this form, Lord Shiva's destructive nature is not malicious, but is born out of necessity to create something new after removing the old. Thus, he is not to be feared. This destructive aspect is understood as an end to living things, the death phase of animate and inanimate forms of creation. It also emphasizes the transient nature of the universe, that everything must perish and no one is immortal. Lord Shiva is in reality the regenerator and not a destroyer as per popular belief. Whenever one's physical body becomes unfit for further evolution in this birth, either by disease or old age or other causes, the Lord at once removes this physical sheet and gives a new, healthy and vigorous body for further evolution. In essence, Lord Shiva utilizes his whole life for the sole purpose of advancing the cause of universal welfare, of not just humans, but of all life. Even in this fierce form, he is an embodiment of compassion, mercy, love, and wisdom. He is one whose only vow of existence is to promote the all-round welfare of all living beings, hence the name Sadasiva, the promoter of welfare. The traditional abode of Lord Shiva is Mount Kailash, which resembles a lingam and is considered to be the center of the universe. Mother Shakti, his divine energy, is depicted in many forms such as Parvati, Durga, Kali, Uma, Devi and Bhavani, amongst others. Shakti is the source of his creative energy. They represent the dynamic extension of Lord Shiva onto this universe. His Shakti, or energy, has infinite aspects, namely Chit, intelligence, Ananda, bliss, Icha, will, Jnana, knowledge, and Kriya, which is the creative power. The combination of Shiva and Shakti is the basis of all existence. Mother Parvati always dwells with Lord Shiva as his Shakti. She is the Divine Mother, and together they are the joint parents of the universe. Brothers and sisters, we should note that Lord Shiva is oblivious to the worldly affairs and has no attachment to the world. He is lost in samadhi with his eyes half closed. He is known to abstain from all forms of indulgence and desires throughout his years of penance and meditation. It is Shakti, or the Divine Mother alone, who really takes care of the affairs of the world. So how does one endear oneself to this magnanimous deity? In terms of worship, even a little love and devotion, a little chanting of his mantra, is quite sufficient to infuse great delight in the Lord, who is so easy to please. He gives boons to his devotees quite readily, as illustrated by him giving the powerful weapon, the Pashupatastra, to Arjuna without hesitation for his little penance, and gave immortality to the boy Markandeya, who was destined to die at the tender age of 16, simply because he was so pleased with his devotion. Let us now explore some of the various forms by which Lord Shiva is known. Lord Shiva's childlike and innocent nature is represented as Bholanath. He is pure at heart, easy to please, and showers his blessing on his devotees without expecting any elaborate rituals. Sri Gurudev says that the name of Lord Shiva, chanted in any way, correctly or incorrectly, carefully or carelessly, knowingly and unknowingly, is sure to give the desired results, as the all-merciful Lord is easily pleased. The repeated utterance of his name with sincere devotion and faith is filled with countless powers and unlimited glory. That is all that is necessary to please the Lord. Bholanath is seen as the most merciful God, who blesses his devotees with happiness and protects them from evil forces. Brothers and sisters, in this Kali Yuga, what easier way could we ask for to attain peace and happiness, knowing that this would be guaranteed? In this form, irrespective of one's nature or status in society, be you a devotee, human, a asura, or a devata. Lord Shiva is known to grant desired boons to anyone who worships him, without even thinking of the consequences. Even the most fallen, as was the case of Bhasmasura, a demon who did extreme penance and received Lord Shiva's boon. Bhasmasura was given a boon that anyone whose head he touched would be burned to ashes. Unfortunately, he tried to use it on Lord Shiva himself, but was later tricked into touching his own head. It is from these emotion-driven actions that Lord Shiva derived the name Bholanath, the Innocent One. Brothers and sisters, the name Jatadhara refers to Lord Shiva's distinctive hairstyle. His matted hair, which is wound in a braid in a shell-like fashion on his head, gives him the name Jatadhara. When there was a plea from the celestial personalities to Brahma to bring Ganga to earth, it was Bhagiratha who was able to please Brahma and ordered Ganga to descend. He was warned about her potential to destroy the earth with her force and sought the help of Lord Shiva because he was the only one who could withstand her might. Lord Shiva received Mother Ganga on his matted locks and released her from his hair in 7 streams. Thus, Lord Shiva is also known as Gangadhara. The third name, Nilakant, has an interesting history. Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean of milk, was organized to produce Amrit, or the nectar of immortality, which would re-establish the glory of the Lord. However, together with the many miraculous gifts came the Hala Hala, a poison that could wipe out all of creation. Yet again, the Devas sought the help of Lord Shiva, who willingly swallowed this poison purely to save the world. However, the poison was so potent that he changed the color of his neck to blue. Hence, the name Nilakant, which means blue throat. This act of selflessly sacrificing oneself for the sake of humanity is indicative of Lord Shiva's compassion and love for mankind. In the same way, brothers and sisters, let us also strive to be of service to humanity. Both our Divine Master Sri Swami Shivananda and our Puja Swami Sahajananda were the perfect examples who dedicated their entire lives for the upliftment of the poor and the needy, and lived to serve humanity as they saw this as being the first step towards spirituality. Also known as Pashupatinath, Lord Shiva is not only seen as a Lord for us humans, but he is also known to protect animals with great love and compassion. Hence the name Pashupatinath, which translates to the Lord of the animals, the one who protects the animals from disease, death, and devastation. The Ardhanarishwara representation shows Lord Shiva with one half of the body as male and the other half as female. This represents the synthesis of masculine and feminine energies of the universe, which is Purusha and Prakriti, and shows how Shakti, the female principle of the Lord, is inseparable from Lord Shiva, the male principle of God. The right half is depicted as Lord Shiva, while the left half shows the female form of Mother Parvati. Without a doubt, the name Ardhanarishwara has an intensely philosophical meaning, symbolizing the balance between the male and female energies in the universe. The forces are inseparable and complementary to each other, suggesting that they must work together to maintain the equilibrium, since Ardhanarishwara represents the perfect synthesis of the male and female forms. There is a well-known legend relating to the emergence of Ardhanarishwara. When the Devas and Rishis went to worship Lord Shiva, a certain Rishi, Maharishi Bringi, ignored Mother Parvati and did not worship her. The next day, Mother Parvati was seen sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva. When Maharishi Bringi came to do his offering to Lord Shiva, he saw Mother Parvati seated on Lord Shiva's lap. Maharishi Bringi used his yogic powers and changed himself into a snake to circumambulate the Lord in the gap between him and Mother Parvati in order to avoid her. To please Mother Parvati, Lord Shiva united with her form. Seeing this, Maharishi Bringi transformed himself into a bee and bore a hole in Ardhanarishwara's navel and went around Lord Shiva alone, avoiding Mother Parvati. Deeply upset, Mother Parvati cursed the yogi to lose parts of his body received from his mother. Now, according to Puranic beliefs, the bones and the nerves of a person comes from the father, and the muscles and the blood come from the mother. Due to this curse, Maharishi Bringi lost all his flesh and blood and was reduced to a mere skeleton. He then realized the significance of Prakriti and Purusha and pleaded for forgiveness from Mother Parvati. The all-merciful mother then transformed him back to his normal self. I will now discuss some of the symbols and their philosophical meanings linked to Lord Shiva. One of the most obvious symbols is the trident that Lord Shiva holds in his right hand, and this represents the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. It is the emblem of sovereignty. It is said that the Lord wields the world through these three gunas. The second symbol is the damaru, which is adorned on Lord Shiva's left hand. The sound of the damaru is called pranamant and represents Om, from which all languages are formed. It is he who created the Sanskrit language out of the damaru. The damaru is also known as the power drum, and when played, it is believed to generate spiritual energy. The damaru is also a symbol of infinity or endless time. One would easily notice the crescent moon, yet another symbol that is shown on the side of the Lord's head, as an ornament. The waxing and waning phenomenon of the moon symbolizes the time cycle through which creation evolves from the beginning to the end. Since Lord Shiva is the eternal reality, he is beyond time. Thus, he is also called Chandrasekhar. Brothers and sisters, the symbol of the snake coil is possibly one of the most common features associated with the Lord. The wearing of serpents around Lord Shiva's neck denotes wisdom and eternity. The serpent coils 3 rounds on the neck of Lord Shiva. This represents time in its most accurate form, past, present, and future, and the coiling signifies the cyclic nature of time. Lord Shiva, adorned with a snake, shows that he is immune to the wrath of time, ignorance, and death. Wearing serpents as ornaments also shows that the Lord is absolutely fearless and immortal. Trilochana is another symbol which denotes the three-eyed one. Lord Shiva is also called Trilochana because of the third eye, the eye of wisdom, which is in the center of his forehead. The third eye represents the rejection of desire. It is important for man to have samta, balance, sadhuta, purity of character, and durdrishti, broader vision, and not fall prey to desires arising out of fame, money, and women. Thus, this serves as a symbol and a constant reminder to us to develop this sight of knowledge. Have you noticed that the eyes of Lord Shiva are not completely closed? This half-opened eye feature of Lord Shiva conveys the idea that the cycle of the universe is still in process. When the Lord opens his eyes completely, then a new cycle of creation begins, and when he closes them, the universe is destroyed, until the next phase of creation. The half-opened eyes shows that creation is an eternal cyclic process that has no end and no beginning. Another distinguishing attribute is that Lord Shiva's body is covered with ashes. This body, smeared with ashes, denotes that death is the ultimate reality of life. The ashes are a reminder that all of material existence is not permanent and comes to an end, being reduced to ashes. Thus, the pursuit of the eternal self and spiritual liberation is important. Divinity is perceived in the ashes because it reminds one of the impermanence of this phenomenal existence. Ash is Lord Shiva's glory, an assertion of his powers as Rudra. Lord Shiva also carries an accessory, a water pot made from dry pumpkin which contains Amrit. This represents the yogic side of the Lord, but it also has a deeper meaning. Just as the ripe pumpkin is plucked from the plant, with its fruit removed and the shell cleaned to carry the pure Amrit, so also must the devotee give up the material world and remove the self of egoism. It is only then that he can find the pure spiritual form. The final adornment is the Rudraksha, or the string holding 108 beads. It is said that the Rudraksha contains the secrets and the laws of the entire evolution of the universe within it. Devotees of Lord Shiva also wear the Rudraksha to lead a peaceful life and to aid deeper meditation. It also helps to maintain good health, gain self-empowerment, and to lead a fearless life. The Shiva lingam is undoubtedly the most venerated symbol in Shiva worship. Lingam means mark or symbol in Sanskrit. This is the outward symbol of the formless being, Lord Shiva, who is the immortal essence of the vast universe. The lingam is described as the imperishable Purusha. It is the Visvarupa, or the Lord's form of the universe. It represents all the energies and powers of the world and beyond. He is known as Swayambhu, which means self-manifested or self-existing, denoting that Lord Shiva does not have to be invoked, as he is already present within the stone. When you look at the oval-shaped lingam, your mind is at once elevated and you begin to think of the Lord. There is a mysterious power or indestructible Shakti in the lingam to induce concentration of the mind. It is said that the rounded ends of the lingam is symmetrical and stabilizes energy, increases memory, and expands overall consciousness. To a sincere devotee, the lingam is not a block of stone, but it is the radiant tejas, or chaitanya, or consciousness. The lingam talks to him, makes him shed profuse tears, and melts the heart. Water offered onto the lingam has a calming effect on the state of the mind. The mind is purified, and it raises the devotee above body consciousness, helps him to communicate with the Lord and attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is a state of infinite bliss and peace. A Shiva lingam consists of 3 parts, the lowest of which is Brahma Pitta, the middle is the Vishnu Pitta, and the uppermost part is the Shiva Pitta. The 3 lines marked on the Shiva lingam symbolizes the triple characteristic of Trimurti, which are the 3 forms or Trinity. The power of the lingam is captured in Lord Shiva's words when the Lord says to Mother Parvati, "O Parvati, daughter of the mountains, there is none dearer to me than the one who worships me in the lingam, knowing that the lingam is the root cause of everything. Brothers and sisters, let us now examine two mantras that are chanted to invoke Lord Shiva's mercy. The Om Namah Shivaya mantra is the central mantra of Lord Shiva. It is most powerful and, if executed sincerely, bestows the highest bliss of existence, removes all negativity, and brings peace into one's life. Om is Satchidananda. It symbolizes the beginning of the creation of the universe, and it is said to have all the energies of the universe in it. The sound Om connects one to one's inner soul, and the sound Namah Shivaya gives one inner peace and strong mental health. This mantra has the powerful energy of Lord Shiva, which, when uttered, is transferred into one's life, filling it with positivity and happiness. Namah Shivaya means, "Oh, salutations to the auspicious one," or adorations to Lord Shiva. The Shiva mantra is called Panchakshara, meaning the 5-syllable mantra, which is said to carry the whole universe. These 5 components are known as the basic units for the formation of the universe. The Na represents earth and Brahma. Ma represents water and Vishnu. Shi represents fire and Rudra. Va represents Vayu, wind and Mahashivastra. Ya represents Jiva, the sky and Sadashiva. The Panchakshara is said to remove all obstacles and miseries and bestows eternal bliss and immortality. The Vedas emphatically declare that he who does japa of this mantra is freed from births and deaths. Sri Gurudev advises that we must meditate on the form of Lord Shiva and repeat this mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, and behold Lord Shiva in all names and forms. He is sure to bless you with his vision. When a visitor asked Sri Gurudev to advise him as to what sadhana he should practice, Sri Gurudev instantly replied that the repetition of the Lord's name was the easiest and something that would suit everybody. The Mahamritanjya mantra is equally powerful when seeking the blessings of Lord Shiva. This mantra is also called the Sanjeevani mantra and is part of the Rig Vedas. It is said that Rishi Shukracharya spent 20 years suspended upside down from a tree doing severe penance, thus pleasing the Lord who gave this mantra to Shukracharya. By chanting the Sanjeevani mantra, man rids himself of all bodily illnesses and all fears, especially the fear of death. The meaning of the Mahamritanjya mantra is as follows. We worship the three-eyed Lord Shiva, who is fragrant and who nourishes well all beings. May he liberate us from death for the sake of immortality. Just as a cucumber is severed from its stem, may we also be released from the bondage of birth and death and attain nirvana, which is the ultimate state of happiness that comes from being liberated from the world. It is said that all physical ailments and diseases are removed by simply chanting this mantra with sincerity 108 times. This mantra is charged with the power of Lord Shiva, and the moment this mantra is uttered, the Lord appears in front of the devotee and spontaneously works his power. Our Pujya Swami Sahajananda repeatedly emphasized the importance of chanting this most powerful mantra. In this day and age, with crime escalating and the number of accidents reaching enormous heights, the repetition of this mantra is our only savior. Our Pujya Swamiji has constantly reminded us of chanting this mantra, especially when we are driving, as this powerful mantra will help us to ward off accidents, robberies, hijacking, and other calamities. I will now discuss the mesmerizing dance of Lord Shiva, a dance which is executed with supreme joy and which has a dance rhythm that creates, sustains, and destroys all of existence. Lord Shiva is seen as the Raj, the king of all dancers, the ecstatic, divine cosmic dancer, Nataraja, described as Satchidananda, or being, consciousness, and bliss. The phenomenon of creation is described as a dance, which is actually the most outstanding expression of this divine rhythm, energy, and cosmic balance. The dance symbolizes the rhythm of birth and death and the cosmic cycle of creation and destruction. Thus, creation becomes the dance, and Lord Shiva, the divine, is the dancer, the cosmic dancer. Brothers and sisters, this dance execution by Lord Shiva is very gentle. Should he dance very vehemently, it would mean the total destruction of the world. He dances with his eyes closed, because the sparks from his eyes are so powerful, it will consume the entire universe. The 5 activities of the Lord, which is creation, preservation, destruction, illusion, and grace, are embellished in the dances of Lord Shiva. There are various types of dance forms, but the Tandava is the most powerful and masculine form. The Tandava, or celestial dance of the Lord, is extremely thrilling and charming, exquisitely graceful in poise and rhythm, and intensely piercing in effect. It is an inseparable sacred movement of the various limbs of the body in accordance with the divine bhava. The Tandava that is graceful and delicate and performed with joy and happiness is referred to as Ananda Tandava and is considered the feminine dance attributed to Mother Parvati. On the other hand, the Rudra Tandava is a most powerful and masculine dance which depicts Lord Shiva's violent and fiery nature, first as a creator and later as a destroyer of the universe. Sri Gurudev says that the dance of Lord Shiva is for the welfare of the world. The object of his dance is to free the souls from the fetters of Maya. The Tandava Stotram was composed by Ravana, the king of Lanka, who was also a great devotee of Lord Shiva. I will now briefly discuss a few of the many festivals dedicated to Lord Shiva. Tripurari Purnama commemorates Lord Shiva's victory over the demon Tripurasura. Legend has it that the gods were afflicted by the Asuras, who possessed the 3 cities made of gold, silver, and iron. They thus sought the help of Lord Shiva, the most powerful one, to destroy the demons and their cities. In this way, Lord Shiva became Tripurari, the destroyer of the 3 cities. Tiruvatira is a famous festival dedicated to Lord Shiva. It celebrates the ecstatic cosmic dance of the Lord, which is represented by his Nataraja form. Tiruvatira, which means a sacred big wave, is celebrated with great fervor and is observed during the full moon night. Perhaps more familiar to us is the glorious festival of Shivaratri. There is a Shivaratri observed in every lunar month. However, it is only once a year that marks the auspicious night, Mahashivaratri, which means the great night of Lord Shiva. The festival of Shivaratri symbolizes the divine incarnation of Lord Shiva. Through the observance of fasting and endearing ourselves to Lord Shiva on Shivaratri, we are able to link our intellect with the Lord and stay in His company. Essentially, this festival is meant for us to awaken from the slumber of ignorance and to protect the self from the negative influences of vices such as lust, anger, greed, and ego. Mahashivaratri signifies the overcoming of darkness and ignorance. Thus, remembrance of the Venerable Lord is observed by meditating on His glorious form, by fasting, reciting mantras, and focusing on virtues. When Mother Parvati asked Lord Shiva which of the many rituals observed in his honor pleased him the most, Lord Shiva immediately replied that it was Shivaratri, his most favorable tithi. Lord Shiva says, "My devotees give me more happiness by mere fasting than by all the ceremonial baths and offerings. The offering of a few bay leaves are more precious than the most expensive jewels." The Lord is easily pleased by these simple offerings. The bay leaves offered to Lord Shiva are very sacred, as it is said that the divine Mother Lakshmi resides in them. He who utters the names of Lord Shiva during Shivaratri with perfect devotion and concentration is freed from all sins and is said to reach the abode of the Lord and live happily there. During Mahashivaratri, the lingam is worshipped throughout the night by washing it every 3 hours with milk, curd, honey and rose water, whilst the chanting of the mantra Om Namah Shivaya continues. We are all familiar with the story of the hunter who climbed up a tree in the forest and sat up waiting for dawn to break. Unknown to him, the tree was Lord Shiva's favorite tree, the Bilva tree, and below the tree was a lingam. To keep awake, the hunter plucked the leaves from the tree and dropped it down the entire night. In doing so, he was unconsciously performing an offering to the Lord. Seeing this, Lord Shiva was highly pleased. At the time of death, Lord Shiva ensured that this hunter's soul was taken to his abode. Just by simply fasting and offering leaves, even though it was so unintentionally done, pleased the Lord immensely. This simple act shows the love and compassion of Lord Shiva. Brothers and sisters, I end my presentation with a prayer for the supreme worship of the Lord. O Shiva, thou art myself. My mind is Parvati. My pranas are thy servants. My body is thy house. All my actions in this world are thy worship. My sleep is samadhi. My speech is praise unto thee. Thus do I offer unto thee all that I am, beseeching your love and mercy forevermore. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Hari Om, dear beloved spiritual darlings. This morning, our lesson is on Lord Muruga and his teachings. Who is Lord Muruga? Lord Muruga is the second son of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. His brother is Lord Ganesha. The Lord manifests as an avatar from time to time to establish good in the world and to punish the wicked. Lord Muruga destroyed the demon Tarakasur and brought peace to the world. Lord Muruga is known for his everlasting youth and beauty. What lessons can we learn from Lord Muruga? We only need to look at Lord Muruga to remember all his teachings. Let's have a look at this picture of Lord Muruga and try and remember as many things that are in this picture and test yourself at the end. Well, firstly, let's look at what Lord Muruga has in his hand. He holds the spear or veil. The veil symbolizes the great power of Lord Muruga and indicates that he is the ruler of the universe. Lord Muruga used to use the veil to attack and kill the enemies. We too need to get rid of the enemies within us. That is, laziness, dishonesty, disrespect, etc. Let's look at laziness. How can we stop being lazy? Firstly, we must make a habit of doing things on time. That is, keep to a routine. We must get up early and start doing what we are supposed to do. We must not laze around and leave things to be done for later. We must have a bath early and make sure the floor is left clean and all soiled clothes are put away in the laundry basket. We can also help Mom and Dad with the household chores like washing the dishes, making the bed, etc. We are given daily homework. It must be done at a set time and completed before we do anything else. Remember what Gurudev says, D-I-N. Do it now. Now, let us look at dishonesty. We all want to be loved and respected, so we need to be honest and truthful. We must do our homework and not copy from others. This is being dishonest. If we do not understand, the teacher is always there to explain. We must try avoid telling lies because this could lead us into trouble. Always speak the truth, even if we are the only one. Never speak ill of others. It is best to talk little. If we always speak the truth, we will be peaceful, happy, and all will admire us. Disrespect. We must love and respect everyone. We must obey our parents. We all know Mom feeds and makes us comfortable in every way. We need to thank her daily. We must do whatever she tells us to do in a loving manner. Remember, Dad also works very hard and takes care of our needs. Don't ever be rude and speak harshly to them. We must obey our teachers and learn our lessons well. We must always be polite and speak sweetly to our friends, elders, neighbors, everyone. Our minds should be filled with pure, loving thoughts, and we must always see the good in others. We will be greatly blessed and loved by all. Peacock. Lord Muruga travels around the universe on his peacock. The peacock is called his vahana, which means vehicle. Now remember, the peacock is very proud of its beautiful feathers. Lord Muruga, riding on the peacock, conquered pride. Here we learn that we need to conquer our pride by being simple and humble. We must eat simple food and wear simple clothes. There is no need for us to wear fashionable, name-brand clothes or compete with our friends. We should be able to make our own lunch and wash our own clothes. We must always be simple and loving. In class, if we excel at maths, then we should help the others who are having difficulties coping with the subject. We could also help the little ones to button their shirts and tie their shoelaces. Sri Gurudev was so simple and humble. He used to prostrate to the furniture, donkeys, and lepers. He treated everyone alike. He ate simple food like roti dipped in water. By being simple and humble, we will always be happy, cheerful, and have a smile on our face. Cobra. At the feet of Lord Muruga lies a cobra. Imagine seeing a cobra in your lounge. You will be terrified. Now Lord Muruga had no fear, and he was very wise. We too need to be strong, bold, and fear nothing. Sri Gurudev says, we must not be timid, shy, and nervous. Our beloved Swamiji conquered the fear of darkness by taking a blanket and spending the whole night in the bush. It was pitch dark. In this way, Swamiji overcame his fear of the darkness, and he was able to give us guidance to what we should do to become brave. Swamiji said, we must face our fears, never run away from problems and difficulties. Now, when we are given a task to do, we must do it to the best of our ability. We must finish it perfectly. We must not leave it half done. When we take a book to study, we must finish it. When Swamiji did the work of Sri Gurudev, like printing books, he put his heart and soul into it until it was completed. We too must be bold and follow Swamiji's example. If we are asked to speak in front of the class or assembly, there is no need to fear. All we need to do is chant and go and present our talk. These days, lots of people have a great fear for COVID. There is no need to fear COVID. Whatever has to happen will happen. All we need to do is take all the precautions, chant, call for Gurudev. Gurudev will never let us down. Always tell yourself, I must be bold as a lion. Never fear, because Sri Gurudev and Lord Muruga dwell in our hearts and are always protecting us. Say this daily. When God is near, why should I fear? Most important, repeat the divine name, Sri Ram, throughout the day. Smile. If you look at Lord Muruga's face, you will notice that he always has a beautiful smile on his lips. This teaches us that no matter what is going on around you, you must try to always be happy. If you are feeling down, sing a happy song, whistle a tune, tell a funny joke. Sri Gurudev says that happiness is a great state of mind that will make you have good health and a strong mind to face any difficulties. Sri Gurudev does not like castor oil faces. Gurudev wants you to always be cheerful, laugh, and radiate sunshine. How do we celebrate Lord Muruga? The festival of Kavadi is dedicated to worshipping Lord Muruga. Devotees offer a fast for Lord Muruga and carry beautifully decorated carts with pictures and murtis of the Lord inside. You can also pray to Lord Muruga by chanting his mantra, Om Sarvana Bhavaya Namaha. May the grace of our Divine Master Sri Gurudev shine on you so you can be a beautiful example of Lord Muruga's teachings. We hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Now we want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video on the birth of Lord Muruga. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Once upon a time, the Devas came to Kailash to see Lord Shiva. They told him about their troubles.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. O Lord, the Asuras have made us their slaves. Only you have to save us from them.
Be patient, Devas. A child will be born to save you all, and he will win the Asuras.
Suddenly, Shiva's face turned into 6 faces. 6 divine sparks came from each of his face. The Devas could not stand the heat and ran away.
O Lord, we are not able to tolerate the heat. Please save us from this.
Don't get frightened. These sparks will not harm you. Vayu and Agni, both of you carry these divine sparks to Ganga. She will take it to the Saravana river.
So, Vayu started carrying the divine sparks first. After some time, he looked at Agni.
Agni, I am not able to withstand this heat. Can you please carry it for some time?
Agni took it and moved forward. They reached the Ganga and put them in the river. Ganga carried it to Saravana river in the Himalayas. The 6 sparks joined together and became a beautiful baby with 6 faces and 12 hands. The wonderful baby is Lord Murugan. The river Kirtikas living there saw this wonder. They wished to grow the child.
Wow! What a beautiful baby! I'm going to take this baby.
No way! I will not let you take him. He is all mine.
Lord Muruga did not want to fool the Kirtikas. So, the baby turned into 6 babies. All the Kirtikas took 1 baby each and grew them up. After a few years,
Parvati Devi, bring our son here. Muruga will stay with us from now.
Parvati Devi held all the children together. The 6 kids turned into 1 boy with 6 faces and 12 hands. So, he got another name as Kanda. He was growing happily with his father and mother. One day, the Devas came to Kailash.
Look at my son Murugan. He will save you all.
Oh Muruga, Arohara, Arohara.
The Devas went happily after seeing Lord Muruga.
Hari Om, dear camp participants. Thank you for tuning into our yoga camp online lessons. Please note that satsang will commence at 11 a.m. and a WhatsApp link will be sent to you shortly. Om.